Reborn in 1979. On the day my childhood sweetheart went to the countryside, he asked me to wait for him. I nodded absently and ran away from the train. In this life, I refused to be his free servant. A year later, he came home and was stunned by what he saw. Hello everyone. Welcome to Empress Revenge Stories. Now, let's begin this tale. The coal smoke by the railway tracks made my throat tighten, and all around me were the noisy farewells of the educated youth heading to the countryside. I snapped back to the present, my fingers still clutching a faded coarse cotton handkerchief. My eyes fell on the person before me, Lin Yenjo, in a half-worn blue work uniform, a canvas bag slung over his shoulder. His handsome features the talk of the entire street. There was a hint of reluctance in his eyes as he looked at me earnestly. I realized with perfect clarity, I had returned to this day in 1979, the day the educated youth boarded the train to the countryside. In my past life, on this day, I stood rooted to the spot, my eyes swollen from crying, clutching his sleeve, promising over and over that I would wait for him at home, take care of his frail mother, cook, wash, carry water, tend the fields, take on all the chores of his household. I did that for 5 whole years. He lived comfortably in the countryside, sending back a few perfunctory letters now and then, occasionally bringing some worthless wild fruit, and I was content with that, setting aside my own work to run to his home. 5 years later, he returned to the city, immediately attached himself to a cadre's daughter, and dismissed my years of unpaid devotion with a casual, "Those years of waiting don't count for much." I was left with nothing, my youth wasted. Now, standing once again on the train platform, hearing him say the exact same words he had said that day, my heart was cold. Not a trace of feeling remained. Jixia, I'm leaving. It'll be 2 or 3 years at least. Wait for me at home. My mother is frail, help her with the farm work and mending. When I come back, we'll get engaged. Lin Yenjo spoke with certainty, as if he knew I would agree without question, naturally piling his household burdens onto me, unaware of anything wrong with it. A few of the other educated youth heading to the countryside looked on, some teasing us about being childhood sweethearts, saying how lucky he was to have someone so devoted waiting for him. In the past, I would have blushed and agreed eagerly, but now, I simply lowered my eyes and gave a faint nod, my face showing no sincerity at all, so perfunctory that even I could tell. I understand. Just 3 words. No reluctance. No asking when he'd return. No promise to look after his family. Lin Yenjo paused, clearly not expecting such coldness, and frowned slightly. That's all. You don't have anything else to say? I glanced at the green train in the distance, its whistle blowing, the doors already open, the youth lining up to board. There was no time to argue. If I had a falling out with him here, with neighbors and other youth watching, gossip would spread through the whole street in no time, leading to endless trouble. Pretending to go along, then slipping away, was the safest move. The train's about to leave. You should get on. Don't miss it. Take care of yourself out there. My tone was flat. I didn't step forward, didn't hand him the bundle of provisions I had prepared in my past life, the steamed buns I'd stayed up all night making, the wrist guards I'd sewn, the money I'd hidden away for him. I'd hidden it all at home, and I wasn't giving him a single cent. Lin Yenjo wanted to say more, but the conductor was blowing his whistle and calling for boarding. He had no choice but to pick up his bag. Before he left, he urged me once more, "I'm counting on you to take care of things at home. Don't forget to visit my mother." I just nodded faintly, my eyes fixed on the carriage behind him. The moment he turned and stepped onto the train, I didn't hesitate for a second. I turned and pushed through the crowd, quickly walking toward the station exit. I could vaguely hear him calling my name from behind, but I ignored it, walking faster and faster. I'd never be a free servant again. In my past life, I'd poured all my youth, strength, and heart into his family, only to be abandoned and betrayed. In this life, I would not make the same mistake. Rather than waste myself on a man who didn't care for me, I would take control of my own time, learn a skill, save money, and live a life that was truly my own. When I emerged from the station, the streets were bustling. Old-style bungalows from the 70s lined the roads, The signs of supply stores clearly visible. The familiar sights confirmed that this rebirth was real. I hurried home, pushing open the courtyard gate. My mother, Wang Xiaolan, was doing laundry in the yard. Seeing me come back alone, she looked up in confusion. "Where's Yanzhou? The train's already left. Why didn't you stay longer? He specifically asked you to look after his mother. You shouldn't have left so soon." My mother had always thought Lin Yanzhou had a bright future and had been set on matchmaking us, constantly urging me to go to the Lin family's house. In my past life, I'd done what she said, and ended up with nothing. I walked over, crouched down, and helped her wring out the clothes. My tone was calm but firm. "Mother, I won't be going over to the Lin's house as much anymore. Every family has its own work. Aunt Lin has her own relatives to take care of her. It doesn't fall to me to go over there every day." Wang Xiaolan paused, looking at me in confusion. "What nonsense are you talking about? The two of you grew up together. Yanzhou entrusted his family to you. How can you just walk away? When he comes back from the countryside, the two of you are supposed to marry. That may or may not happen. I don't want to tie myself down to someone else's household chores so early." I didn't argue with her, just slowly explained my intentions. I plan to sign up for a sewing class in town and learn a trade. I want to earn my own living, without relying on anyone else. Wang Xiaolan immediately objected, thinking I was just throwing a tantrum. Sewing is such hard work. A girl should just wait for her fiancé to come back and marry her. Why make things so complicated? I didn't argue. I'd already made up my mind. No matter what she said, I wouldn't repeat the mistakes of my past life. I went to my room. In a wooden chest were all the things I'd given to Lin Yanzhou or kept that related to him over the years: hand-embroidered handkerchiefs, a fountain pen I'd saved up to buy, a glass jar from when we picked wild fruit together. I took them all out, brought them to the woodpile outside, and set them on fire. The flames devoured those old objects that held the grievances of my past life. I stood by, feeling no regret, only relief. From this day on, the Su Jixia who had orbited around Lin Yanzhou, working tirelessly for him, was gone. From now on, I would live only for myself. The ashes from the fire still gave off a faint wisp of smoke. Wang Xiaolan saw me burning all those things related to Lin Yanzhou and hurried over, her face dark with anger. "Jixia, what's gotten into you today? You were cold to Yanzhou at the station, and now you're burning all his things. Are you trying to cut ties with him for good?" Her voice was full of confusion. In her mind, the neighborhood had always seen us as a pair. He was going to the countryside with a bright future ahead, and it was only natural for me to wait and look after his family. Seeing me act this way, she thought I was just having a childish tantrum. I kicked at the ashes on the ground, my expression calm and unyielding. "I'm not throwing a tantrum. Mother, I've made up my mind. I can't spend my whole life caught up in someone else's household." "What do you mean, caught up?" Wang Xiaolan raised her voice, grabbing my arm. "Yanzhou entrusted his mother to you because he values you. In 2 or 3 years, he'll come back, get a good job, and marry you properly, and will have status in the village too. If you distance yourself from his family now, people will say you're fickle. Who will want you in the future?" Neighbor gossip and marital standing, these were the two things my mother always talked about. In my past life, I had been bound by those same words. Every day before dawn, I'd go to the Lin house to carry water, chop wood, cook, and wash, while my own parents' fields went untended. In the end, I was just told I had no sense of propriety. I gently pulled my arm free and explained clearly, "Aunt Lin has her own sister in the next village, who visits often. The heavy work should be handled by her own relatives. I'm just a neighbor. I have no duty to go there every day. Besides, I want to learn sewing. With a skill, whether I marry or stay single, I can support myself. That's more reliable than just waiting for someone." My father, Su Deshan, who had been smoking his pipe, put it down and spoke after a long silence. "Learning a trade isn't a bad thing, but you should settle things with Yanzhou properly. Don't make it too harsh and give people something to gossip about." He was gentler than my mother, but he still thought I shouldn't completely cut off Lin Yanzhou. I understood that they couldn't change their views overnight, so I didn't argue. I just said softly, I won't openly break with his family, but I won't be at their beck and call anymore, working for them day and night. As for sewing, I've already checked. Master Zhangguotian in town offers a 3-month course for 5 yuan. After that, I can take on tailoring work from the neighbors and save up a good amount. 5 yuan was a lot in 1979, almost half a month's living expenses for our family. Wang Xiaolon frowned at the cost. So expensive. That money's wasted on a skill. Better to save it for your wedding with Yanzhou. Money spent on yourself is never wasted. I was firm. I went inside and pulled out a small cloth bag I'd hidden under my bed. It held money I'd saved from picking up scrap and helping with shoe soles. I counted it carefully. It was just enough for the tuition. I don't need you to pay for it. I have enough saved. Don't worry. Wang Xiaolon looked at the neatly arranged coins I'd saved up, and fell silent. But she still didn't approve. For days she kept hinting that I should go help the Lin family. The next morning, a neighbor from next door to the Lins came by, saying that Lin Yanzhou's mother had been complaining about an empty water jar and no firewood, and hoped I could help out. In the past, I would have dropped everything and rushed over. But today, I was holding a piece of fabric I was cutting, and I didn't even look up. Auntie, I have to go to town today to check on when the sewing class starts. I really can't make it. If you have time, maybe you could help her, or ask her sister to come by. Her smile faded slightly, and she spoke with a note of reproach. Zhixia, Yanzhou specifically asked you to look after the house before he left. Now you're making excuses. When he comes back from the countryside, he won't be happy. He has his own family. I have my own things to do. I can't be expected to handle everything. I was polite but didn't budge. From now on, please don't come to me with the Lin family's chores. The woman left in a huff. Before the day was out, gossip was flying. I'd changed. I was cold-hearted. I'd abandoned my promise to look after my fiancé's mother the moment he left. Wang Xiaolon was anxious and urged me to go to the Lin house, just to make it look good and shut people up. I didn't care about the gossip. I packed my things, took my savings, and headed to town alone. I found the sewing class and met Master Zhangguotian. She was in her 40s, her hands calloused from years of needlework, but her manner was warm and down to earth. I explained my purpose, paid the tuition, registered, and confirmed that classes would start in 3 days. With everything handled, I stepped out of her shop. A heavy weight finally lifted from my heart. Walking home, I saw familiar faces on the street, pointing and whispering. Their comments were clear enough. In the past, I would have felt ashamed and tried to defend myself, but now I just walked straight ahead. What others thought didn't matter. I wouldn't sacrifice my own life to meet their expectations. Back home, facing my mother's endless nagging, I calmly cleared a spare table to use as a cutting and sewing station. From now on, my time, energy, and savings were all for myself. The endless chores at the Lin house, the unpaid servant work, I would never touch them again. Once I learned a skill, I could stand on my own 2 feet, without depending on anyone, without waiting for someone who wouldn't cherish me. 3 days passed quickly. I showed up at the sewing class on time with my cloth bag, scissors, measuring tape, needles, thread, and a small piece of scrap fabric from home. This was the first real step I'd taken for myself since my rebirth. No attachments, no baggage, just solid anticipation. The class was small. In a shop front on the old town street, there were 8 students, all young women from nearby villages. One of them, Lu Chunyan, became my close friend right away. She was warm, cheerful, and down to earth, and she took a liking to me immediately. Our teacher, Zhang Guotian, was known far and wide for her excellent skills. She was patient, didn't hold back her knowledge, and didn't put on airs. On the first day, she told us plainly, sewing is a real craft. There's no shortcut. Your eyes must be sharp, your hands steady, your mind calm. Only by putting in the work can you learn real skill. I took her words to heart. In my past life, I had wasted my best years on the Lin family and waiting for Lin Yanzhou. I'd only learned how to do rough housework, with no real skill to support myself. I ended up with nothing, no way to even feed myself. In this life, I cherished this chance more than anyone else. When the other girls took breaks to chat, I kept my eyes on the teacher's every move, every cutting measurement, every stitching arc, every finishing technique, taking careful mental notes. I practiced each step over and over, ripping out stitches and redoing them without slacking off. Life at the sewing class was fulfilling and peaceful, far from the village gossip. But the turmoil at home never really stopped. My refusal to help the Lin family and my break from being on call whenever they needed me bred resentment in Lin Yenzhou's mother. Before, I had been there every day to carry water, chop wood, wash, and cook, keeping their household running smoothly. Now that I'd stopped, all the chores fell on her, and she was completely unprepared. Before long, she came to our house herself, tearfully telling my mother, "Xiaolan, what's happened to Jixia?" Yenzhou asked her to look after me before he left, but now I can't get her to come by at all. It's so hard for an old woman like me to manage alone. I know she's grown up and has her own ideas, but people have to be decent and keep their word. Yenzhou is out there suffering in the countryside, someone has to look after things at home. Her words were pure emotional blackmail. Wang Xiaolan, who had always pushed for me to marry Lin Yenzhou, grew even more anxious. That evening, when I returned from class, she pulled me aside and lectured me sternly. "Look at you. All this sewing has made you neglectful. You've forgotten all about human decency." Aunt Lin came to our door herself. "Your reputation is at stake. Go help her out tomorrow. Don't let people say you're ungrateful and heartless." I set down my needle and thread, calm and composed, and replied clearly, "Mother, I have never been ungrateful. For years, I went to their house every day, working for free, doing heavy chores, without asking for a thing in return. I've given more than enough to live up to neighborly duty. Aunt Lin isn't seriously ill, she just doesn't want to work. She has a sister and a nephew nearby. It's not my place, as an outsider who isn't even married into the family, to take on all that responsibility." Lin Yenzhou chose to go to the countryside. I didn't force him. I am not obligated to pay for his choices. My words were reasonable and firm, and Wang Xiaolan was momentarily speechless. She still wasn't satisfied, and lowered her voice. "You're young and headstrong. Yenzhou is a high school graduate. When he comes back, he's bound to get a good job. Lots of girls are after him. If you upset his mother now, and he comes back and breaks things off, you'll have no one to cry to. Then let it break off." My tone was final, without a hint of hesitation. A marriage built on pleasing others won't last. I have a skill now. I can earn my own living and stand on my own feet. I don't need a man to live with dignity. Wang Xiaolan was upset, but she couldn't find any more harsh words to say. Watching my growing determination, she finally began to suspect that I was truly done with Lin Yenzhou, not just throwing a tantrum, but cutting all ties for good. Rumors in the village grew stronger. People whispered that I was calculating, that I'd turned my back on Lin Yenzhou the moment he was sent to the countryside. They said I was too proud now that I'd learned a bit of sewing, looking down on my childhood sweetheart. In the past, I would have fallen apart, tried to explain, given in. Now I just let it slide. I knew human nature too well. In a 1970s village, everyone took it for granted that a woman should depend on a man, endure, and wait. By breaking the rules, I was bound to be criticized, but gossip wouldn't buy me a good life. Giving in would only lead me back to the same mistakes. I threw myself entirely into learning to sew. By day, I worked with the teacher, mastering new techniques, measuring, cutting, making modern shirts, bell-bottoms, floral tops. At night, I practiced on my homemade table, taking apart old clothes to study patterns, staying up late to perfect my stitches. Lu Chenyan would often say, "Jixia, you work so hard. Even we take a break now and then, why are you so serious every day?" I answered, "Skill is something you keep for yourself. The more you learn, the more secure your future will be." In just 1 month, my skills far surpassed the other students. I could alter clothes, finish edges, and make new garments quickly and well. Even Master Zhang praised my talent and work ethic. Seeing how reliable I was, she offered me work. "Jixia, you're already more than half a master. From now on, when people in town or the village need work, I can give some to you, you can earn your own money. I was thrilled and thanked her. That meant I could start earning with my own hands even before the 3 months were up. I had truly gained the means to support myself. I was no longer the girl who orbited around men, worrying about their approval and working for free. From then on, I would live only for myself. Once Master Zhang started sharing work with me, I officially entered the world of earning a living with my hands. At first, it was just simple jobs, hemming pants, mending sleeves, finishing edges, small tasks, small pay. But I did every piece with extra care. I measured twice, kept my stitches neat and even, and finished every edge cleanly. My customers were all happy and came back. Word spread, and soon people in town and the surrounding villages were saying that despite my youth, my work was better than some old tailors. With fair prices and fine craftsmanship, Lu Chenyan watched me take in work every day and earn steady pocket money. She was genuinely happy for me, and sometimes brought me small jobs from her village. Our friendship deepened. Compared to my old life, sitting at home waiting, burdened by the Lin family's chores, my days were now full and solid. I got up at dawn, sorted my materials, finished any backlogged work at home, then went to class to learn new styles. The 1980s marked the beginning of clothing trends. Old-fashioned jackets were on their way out, and city styles, small collared shirts, fitted floral dresses, straight-leg bell-bottoms, had become the most sought-after styles for girls in town. Master Zhang was open-minded and kept up with trends, bringing in sample garments from the county for us to study. Others found the new styles difficult and avoided them. But I focused on the details, collar curvature, waist placement, pant width, and took notes on everything. I practiced until I got them right. Within 2 months, I could handle the whole process, measuring, pattern making, cutting, sewing, finishing, all on my own. More and more customers followed. Girls from the village and town came to me for new clothes for weddings, visits, or market days. Each shirt paid 8 mao. Each pair of trousers 1 yuan and 20 fen. A floral outfit over 2 yuan. After the cost of thread and buttons, I had a steady income every day. I saved everything carefully, adding to my tin box. My family noticed the change. Wang Xiaolan, who had nagged me about being stubborn and ungrateful, now saw me earning money on my own, with more pocket money than any girl in the village who had a regular job. Her scolding faded, and sometimes she'd even praise me to the neighbors. But the Lin family wouldn't let go. Lin Yanzhou's mother kept sending word either the yard was overgrown or the water jars were empty, trying to guilt me into coming back. Once, she even blocked my doorstep, putting on a pitiful act for passers-by. My Yanzhou is out there suffering in the countryside, and his wife won't even look after things at home. She only cares about earning money for herself. How heartless. When I heard this, I was at my sewing machine, working on a customer's wedding dress. In the past, I would have panicked, afraid of the gossip, and gone to make amends. But this time, I just stopped the machine, walked outside, and set the record straight in front of everyone. Aunt Lin, for 3 years I came to your house every day, carrying water, chopping wood, washing, cooking, sewing new clothes and shoes for you on holidays, all for free, without a day off. Your son went to the countryside because of the policy. That was his own choice, not a debt to me. I never took a betrothal gift from your family, nor did we ever formally agree to marry. I have no duty to work for your family for life. I'm learning a trade, earning my own living, supporting myself with my own hands. There's nothing shameful about that. If others are bitter, that's their problem. I'm not doing anything wrong. My words were clear, fair, and final. Lin Yanzhou's mother turned pale, unable to say a word in response. The neighbors who had gathered all knew I had been a hard worker for years. Now they saw the truth. It wasn't that I had turned cold, it was that the Lin family had been taking me for granted, and turned on me when I stopped giving. Someone muttered, "So that's how it is. That girl helped them so much for years. Who could keep that up forever? She's just earning her own living, why should she be tied to their family?" Lin Yanzhou's mother left humiliated, her reputation for greed and selfishness sealed. She never dared to make a scene again. With the Lin family out of my life, I could focus completely on my craft and livelihood. As my clientele grew, I started managing my time carefully. During the day, I learned new skills at the sewing class and took on bigger orders from town. At night, I finished small jobs for the village. I kept my promises and met every deadline. My quality remained high. More and more customers returned. In just 2 months, I'd saved over 30 yuan. In 1979, that was more than an average farming family could save in half a year. It gave me real confidence. I was no longer a timid girl living on others' whims. I had skills, savings, a reputation, and my own solid footing. Lu Chenyan often told me with admiration, "Jixia, you're a different person now. You're so capable and confident, way more exciting than before. I wish I could be as bold as you." I'd smile and say, "You have to walk your own path. Rather than wait for someone to give you a place, it's better to earn your own footing." Day by day, my life became steady and peaceful. I had let go of old attachments, stepped out of the trap of my past life. I knew that soon, Lin Yanzhou would send a letter from the countryside, pretending to care, but really just keeping me hooked to serve him. But this time, I'd already built a new life for myself. He wouldn't get another chance. Once I was free of the Lin family's burden, my life took a complete turn. No more being tied down by other people's affairs. My days were simple and fulfilling. Apart from practicing my craft and taking on orders, I spent my free time with Lu Chenyan and the others, slowly building a new circle of friends of my own. In my past life, Lin Yanzhou and his family had been my whole world. My time, energy, and emotions all revolved around him. I'd drifted away from the other girls my age. Now that I'd stepped out of that cage, I realized how light life felt without the constant waiting and unpaid labor. My classmates were honest, hardworking people, not gossips like some neighbors. During the day, we worked under Master Zhang, studying new cutting techniques and helping each other with measurements and adjustments. After class, we'd go to the market together or browse the supply stores, sharing our lives and thoughts. Lu Chenyan became my closest friend. She was lively and perceptive, and truly understood me. She never pried into my past with Lin Yanzhou, nor tried to talk me into going back. She just quietly supported me. "Focus on your craft and live well. Jixia, your skills are already better than most of the old tailors in town. In a while, you'll be able to take orders all on your own, no need for the class." One evening, sitting at the shop door sorting fabric, Lu Chenyan said this as she tidied up loose threads. I nodded. I'd already planned ahead. "After I finish, I'm going to set up a small stall at home for alterations and custom clothing." After 2 months of hard work, my skills were fully developed. I could make men's and women's clothing, children's clothes, wedding outfits, all with precision and style. Even particular customers asked for me by name. Master Zhang had praised me more than once. I was meticulous and quick to learn, cut out for a life in this craft. My friendships were positive and healthy. My mindset grew calmer and more stable. No more anxiety or second guessing. I felt better, looked better, neat, confident, and efficient, completely different from the timid girl I used to be. But the gossip never fully stopped. A few old-fashioned women in the village still had nothing better to do than to gather under the big locust tree at the village entrance and talk about me. They said I was cold-hearted, that the moment Lin Yanzhou went to the countryside, I abandoned him. Classic, selfish behavior. They said I'd grown arrogant after learning a little sewing, too good for the boy I'd grown up with, and that I'd regret it. These rumors were persistent and sharp. They drifted into my parents' ears. Wang Xiaolan was sometimes bothered by them, and spoke to me one evening. "Jixia, I know you're doing well now, but as they say, always leave yourself a way out. If you're too final now, and Yanzhou comes back at the end of the year, things will be awkward." I was sewing a child's top at the machine, and answered calmly, "Mother, I gave them that way out. It's their greed that's the problem. I gave years of unpaid work, and no one was grateful. The moment I stepped back, everyone turned on me. I'd rather live my own life well than suffer for others' good opinions." He went to the countryside for his own future, not for me. I'm not going to spend my youth paying for his. My words were clear and steady. Wang Xiaolan fell silent. She'd watched me get up early and work hard all these months. She'd seen me grow independent and self-assured, and had slowly come to understand my choice. Compared to some uncertain engagement and other people's chatter, real skills and savings were a far safer foundation for her daughter. Before long, a letter arrived from the countryside, from Lin Yenzhou. The village clerk himself brought it over. The neighbors gathered again, waiting to see if I'd soften, if I'd take up the old thread. The clerk handed me the envelope, smiling. Jixia, Yenzhou's thinking of you, he sent you a letter. See what he has to say. I held the thin envelope, but my heart was still. I knew Lin Yenzhou too well. This letter would be nothing new, a few empty words of longing. Some complaints about the hardship of rural life, a request to keep looking after his mother, and a vague promise of a return date, all meant to keep me in his service. In my past life, I'd been overjoyed by this letter. I'd replied immediately, every word tender, counting the days until his return. But in this life, I didn't even want to open it. In front of all the onlookers, I handed the letter back to the clerk. Please return it. I don't need it. Silence fell. No one had expected me to be so firm, not even bothering to look at it. The clerk was stunned. This is his personal letter to you. Is it really okay to send it back? We're no longer connected. There's no need to exchange letters. My voice was calm, unafraid of anyone's gaze. His family affairs, his return, none of that has anything to do with me. From now on, his letters don't need to come here. I turned and went back inside, sat down at my sewing machine, and let the noise outside fade away. The murmurs outside grew louder, but this time, no one dared call me heartless or fickle. Everyone understood. I wasn't just upset. I had truly, completely let go of the obsession that had bound me for years. I was no one's shadow, no one's servant, no one's backup plan. I was just Su Jixia, a girl supporting herself with her own hands, living for herself. From now on, my circle, my income, my life, all in my own hands. The news that I'd returned the letter spread through the village and completely overturned the impression people had of me. Before, many had assumed I was just being stubborn, and that a few gentle words from Lin Yenzhou would soften me and bring me back to waiting for him and looking after his family. But my public rejection of the letter was so final and clean that it shattered all those expectations. The conversations under the village locust tree shifted direction entirely. The same aunties who used to call me cold-hearted and ungrateful no longer dared to speak against me. Anyone who tried was quickly silenced. Su Jixia gave years of service to that family. Who could have done more? She's got skills and she's earning money. Her life is thriving. Why should she keep wasting her time waiting on someone? Lin Yenzhou just talks big and dumps all his responsibilities on her. Who would wait for that? The gossip turned around completely. No one blamed me anymore. Instead, people said I was clear-headed, honest, and had backbone. Wang Xiaolan had worried that returning the letter would burn bridges with the Lin family. But seeing the village opinion turn in my favor, and seeing my steady income and growing confidence, her worries faded. She finally understood, this wasn't just a phase. I had truly stepped out from under other people's burdens and started living my own life. But the Lin family still wouldn't give up. When Lin Yenzhou's mother heard I'd returned the letter, she panicked. She had been coasting on the idea that I would keep serving as her unpaid helper. Now that I'd stopped coming, all the farm work and housework fell on her, and she was struggling, unwilling to lose such a free source of labor. She sent her sister to talk to me the next day, hoping to soften me with emotion. Lin Yi came carrying a bag of dried sweet potatoes she'd made herself, wearing a gentle smile and laying on the guilt. Jixia, you and Yenzhou grew up together. You can't just cut that bond over a little disagreement. You're young. A bit of stubbornness is normal, don't take it too seriously. Yenzhou is suffering in the countryside, and he's always thinking of you. He sent a letter out of care, sending it back just hurts him. Listen to me, just help out at home like before. When he comes back at the end of the year, you can get married properly and live a stable life together. I set out 2 cups of water. Polite but firm. A bond is built on mutual effort, not just one person giving. I helped your family wholeheartedly for 3 years without complaint. That debt has long been paid. I have to focus on my craft and my income now. I don't have the time or energy to take on other people's housework. My tone was calm and reasonable, not hostile, but leaving no room for negotiation. Lin Yi's hand froze in midair, holding the sweet potatoes. She tried a few more arguments, but I turned them all away. Finally, she left with nothing to show for her efforts. After 2 failed attempts, the Lin family finally accepted the reality. I was never coming back to serve them. They stopped sending people to talk me into it, left to manage their own affairs. Lin Yanzhou's mother grew haggard from the daily work. Without me to hold things together, she had no more leisure. With the last of the personal entanglements behind me, I poured myself fully into my sewing business. By now, more than half a year had passed since my rebirth and my decision to stop waiting for Lin Yanzhou. My skills had become even more refined. I could make ordinary clothes, bridal outfits, modern suits, children's wear, all with fine detail and good fit. People from all the surrounding villages came specifically to me for clothes. Seeing my stable clientele and mature skills, Master Zhang suggested I graduate early and work independently. Zhixia, you've already surpassed the level of an ordinary apprentice. Staying in the class is just wasting time. You can set up your own stall and earn much more on your own. I'll still send you big orders, no harm done. I agreed at once, thanking her sincerely. Early graduation meant I was now fully qualified to earn my living independently. Back home, I talked with my parents and decided to set up a small sewing stall at our front gate. My father, seeing my diligence, fully supported me. He built me a flat cutting table and a wooden rack for hanging fabric. In just one day, my simple sewing stall was ready. No fancy decorations, just a table, a sewing machine, a few rolls of cloth, and various threads and buttons, but it was my greatest source of security. On the first day, old and new customers came in a steady stream. Orders were booked for a full week. I kept my promises, priced fairly, worked carefully, never cutting corners or missing deadlines. Whether it was a small repair worth a few cents or a full outfit worth a few yuan, I treated every job with the same care. Within days, my stall's reputation was solid, my daily income stabilized, and my savings grew quickly. I was no longer a timid girl dependent on others. I earned my own money, spent my own savings, and lived openly and freely. Lu Chenyan often came to help me watch the stall and wrap up finished pieces. Seeing the steady flow of customers, she said happily, "Zhixia, you're really amazing now. Running your own business is much better than getting married young." I smiled and nodded. I felt lucky to be reborn, to have cut my losses early, and to have escaped the endless waiting and unpaid labor. In my past life at this time, I was still trapped in the Lin household, toiling and waiting, wearing myself out, only to end up with nothing. In this life, I had changed my fate with my own hands. I had skills, savings, family, friends. My days were warm and bright. I remembered clearly that in just a few days, Lin Yanzhou would be coming home for a visit. It had been a full year since he'd left for the countryside. In my past life, when he returned, I was wearing faded old clothes, worn out from work, and ran to meet him with joy. I was met with indifference. But in this life, everything was different. When he came back and saw me, radiant and independent, saw the stable life I'd built with my own hands, saw that I no longer revolved around him, he would be stunned, regretful, empty. My new life had already begun. His regrets were just starting. A full year had passed. Exactly 365 days since Lin Yanzhou left for the countryside and asked me to wait for him at the train station. In that year, I had completely transformed my life. No more waiting. No more wasted energy. No more free labor for his family. Every moment of my time and energy had gone into building something solid. My sewing stall was well established, transformed from a small patch-up stand into the most reliable tailoring spot in the surrounding towns. I had mastered all the popular styles of the late 70s and early 80s, fitted floral tops, crisp collars, flared trousers, festive bridal sets, all made quickly and beautifully. People came from far away just for my work. Orders were often booked 2 weeks in advance. I kept a steady schedule, didn't overwork myself, and never cut corners. The business was solid, and my savings were real. After daily expenses and materials, my tin box held over 180 yuan in cash. In a 1980s village, that was a fortune. An ordinary farming family could barely save 50 yuan in a year. I had earned what would take others 3 or 4 years, all with one skill. My financial security brought changes to my appearance and spirit. In the past, I had worked rough labor and scrimped on food, leaving me sallow, rough-handed, faded and timid, easily overlooked. Now I could eat well and rest. My skin was clear and fair, my eyes confident. I made myself a fitted floral shirt and dark straight-leg trousers, kept my hair neat, and stood before my stall with an open, self-assured manner. Everyone in the village could see it. No one dared call me heartless or foolish anymore. Those who had mocked me for giving up my childhood sweetheart now praised my capability, vision, and independence. My parents stood tall too. Wang Xiaolan, who had once been afraid of gossip, now spoke of me with pride. My father fully supported me, helping to look after the stall and materials. Lu Chenyan often helped out too, marveling at my transformation. Xixia, I really admire you. In 1 year, you've become the most remarkable woman in the village. Meanwhile, others cling to their men and their promises, living in chaos. I answered simply, better to rely on yourself. Having money and skills in your own hands is what really counts. This year, I had let go of all the bitterness of my past life. At this time in my past life, I was exhausted, running to the Lin house every day, saving every cent for them, aging and haggard, waiting only for Lin Yanzhou's return, only to be disappointed. In this life, I had let myself go, and truly been reborn. The Lin family's situation had gone in the opposite direction, chaotic and broken. Without my help, Lin Yanzhou's mother had no one to rely on. All the chores, carrying water, chopping wood, farming, cooking, washing, fell on her. She had always been weak and lazy, and after a year of hard work, she was haggard and worn out. The yard was overgrown, the kitchen dirty, the house no longer tidy. Neighbors passing by would shake their heads. Without me, the Lin family's dignity was gone. In that year, Lin Yanzhou had sent 3 letters from the countryside. I returned them all. He never wrote again, never showed a shred of regret. I had cleaned out every trace of him from my life. I knew the rules for educated youth visits had loosened this year. Those who had been in the countryside for a full year could come home for a visit. Lin Yanzhou would be back soon. I knew he would still be full of that old arrogance. Certain I would still be waiting for him, still toiling, still longing for his return. He thought the whole village would be watching for our reunion. He thought I would set aside all my pride and come running back, serving him and his family again. He had no idea that this year had changed me completely. I was no longer the Su Jixia who orbited around him, working for free. I had skills, savings, a business, confidence. I shone brightly, independent and free. The educated youth status he was so proud of, the future job he expected, none of it impressed me anymore. I stopped my work and looked toward the road at the village entrance. My heart was still. A year of waiting, I had given him nothing. I had given myself only a complete rebirth. When he came back, it wouldn't be my joy, it would be his regret. The afternoon sun was warm and gentle. I was sitting at my stall, finishing the hem of a customer's garment. The steady hum of the sewing machine filling the air. The village was especially lively that day. Everyone was talking about one thing. The educated youth were coming home for visits. And Lin Yanzhou would be arriving today. People had gathered at the village entrance early, mostly to watch the reunion between us. In everyone's eyes, no matter how many disagreements we'd had or letters I'd returned, I was still his default fiancé. Once he came back, everything would go back to how it was. Wang Xiaolan was sitting beside me, shelling vegetables. She couldn't help murmuring, Yanzhou will be home today. He'll probably come by. Be nice to him, don't be cold. Always leave a little room. I kept working, my stitches steady, and said calmly, there's nothing to say. We each have our own paths. I knew Lin Yanzhou's mind too well. He'd come back full of pride. His status as an educated youth and his expected city job giving him an air of superiority. He would be certain I'd spent the year suffering, counting the days for his return. A few soft words from him, and I'd fall back into my old role. He would also expect me to take over his family's chores again, to look after his mother until he settled down in the city. That was the kind of selfish, arrogant man he was. Before long, a commotion came from the village entrance. The murmur of the crowd grew louder. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a tall figure walking down the main road, in a clean light blue work uniform, carrying a canvas bag, looking more mature than he had a year ago. It was Lin Yanzhou, home for his visit. He walked through the village, receiving greetings and praise from the neighbors, a calm, gentle smile on his face. He looked confident and successful. People teased him. "Yanzhou, you're back. You look great after all that time in the countryside. You really are a scholar, you have a different air about you. Go see your Jixia. She's waited a whole year for you, she'll be so happy to see you." All the attention fed his ego. His smile grew wider, his expression full of certainty. He walked straight toward me. The crowd fell silent, all eyes on us, waiting for the reunion. Lin Yanzhou stepped closer, and the moment his eyes fell on me, he stopped cold. All the calm and tenderness drained from his face. He was stunned. The Su Jixia in his memory was the girl in worn-out clothes with a sallow face, timid, always trailing behind him, watching his mood, never daring to speak up. The girl who worked for his family, saved every penny for him, and lived only for him. But the woman before him was nothing like that. I wore a clean, well-fitted floral shirt in the latest style, with neat sleeves and a tailored waist. My hair was tied up neatly, my expression relaxed and bright, my skin fair and clear. I sat calmly, working the sewing machine with steady, practiced hands, radiating confidence and independence. My stall was tidy, piles of orders stacked, customers stopping to ask about prices. Everything about me spoke of self-reliance. Lin Yanzhou's pupils contracted. He looked shocked. He'd imagined many possible reunions, me, red-eyed, looking at him, me, sulking, me, holding back tears. He never imagined I'd be doing so well that I didn't need him at all. The hardships of his year in the countryside, the future he'd been so proud of, suddenly, they meant nothing. He swallowed, and it took him a moment to find his voice. "Jixia." I stopped the machine and glanced at him briefly. No emotion, no excitement, no trace of the old warmth. "Can I help you?" 3 cold, distant words, drawing a clear line between us. My tone stung him. In the past, my eyes had always been full of warmth for him. Now there was only indifference. He forced down his shock, and with the same old manner, said, "I'm back. The letters you sent back, what was that all about? A whole year without contact, are you really that heartless?" There was still a hint of accusation in his voice, as if my not waiting and serving him was some kind of offense. I set down the fabric and met his eyes without flinching. "I'm not obligated to wait for you forever, nor to run your household. I've spent this year looking after myself, and I have no regrets." Lin Yanzhou frowned, seeing that I was completely beyond his control. For the first time, a real panic rose in him. He looked at my stall full of fabrics, at my neat, respectable clothes, at my calm confidence, and then thought of his own messy, neglected home and his exhausted mother. The gap was huge. He had endured hardship in the countryside, saved up his experience, thinking he would come back and reclaim everything, only to find that the woman he'd casually burdened and used had quietly surpassed him, becoming someone he could no longer reach. He tried to win me back, softening his tone with a hint of condescension. "I know it was hard for you when I left. This time I came back to make things right. Let's forget the past. Just help out at home again. Once I'm settled in the city, we'll get engaged." It was still a one-sided offer, still the same demand for free labor and support. I just smiled faintly, cold and empty. "No, Lin Yanzhou. I've already repaid whatever we owed each other. You have your future, and I have my life. We're done. Don't ask me for anything again. I won't waste another moment on you." Each word clean and final, cutting all ties completely. The crowd around us finally understood, this was real. There was no going back. His face went pale. All the certainty, superiority, and composure he had vanished in an instant, replaced by shock and sudden regret. He stood there, watching me, calm, self-assured, radiant. He watched my thriving life, and it finally dawned on him that casual nod at the train station a year ago wasn't a promise to wait. It was goodbye. He had lost the one person who had once given him everything for nothing. And my new life, bright, full of promise, no longer had anything to do with him. What do you think of this story? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I look forward to hearing your voice.